Hey everybody, and welcome to the very first podcast for Taylion Academy for the 2017-18 school year. My name is Nolan Smith. I am the Student Council Advisor for the Victorville site. I am also the Senior Outreach Coordinator here at Taylion. I'm very excited to have a brand new group of students here for our podcast, all members of our Student Council. So I'd like for them to go around and introduce each other, so go right ahead.
My name's Desiree, I'm in 7th grade. My name is Cheyenne, and I'm in the 11th grade.
My name is Leisha, I'm in the 11th grade.
I'm Jaya, I'm in 12th grade.
My name's Raymond, I'm in 11th grade.
My name's Amzina, and I'm in 10th grade.
Now, we have a few topics we want to talk about today, but first I want to say what this podcast is about. So we do this as a way to give our students a voice. They're able to talk about current topics, they're able to talk about things they would like to talk about, and they're able to share it with everybody via this podcast video, which is found on YouTube, on Facebook, anywhere that you'll see Taylion on social media. Unfortunately, we have to start in a very sad way. I would like to first express our thoughts regarding the tragedy that happened in Las Vegas this past Sunday. All of us, I know, are very deeply saddened by what happened with those senseless acts of violence. I know our students here are all affected by it as well. I don't know if anybody would have anything they'd like to say on that. You're more than welcome to right now. If not, I, of course, would like to say we're all thinking about those affected, those that have passed away, those injured. If you need resources, please don't be afraid to reach out. If you're in the Inland Empire, please dial 211. You can get a whole list of resources right there. If you're a Taylion student or family and you need resources, please don't be afraid to reach out to us. Speak to our counselor, Ms. Rubio, and she can hook you up with resources you need. So I just wanted to first start off with that. Let's go ahead and jump into our topics for this week. We are talking about, we have seen a lot of natural disasters happening. So let's talk about these earthquakes and hurricanes that have been devastating not just the United States, but the whole world. So let's get into it.
Okay. First, I want to talk about Hurricane Irma. Because of Hurricane Irma, the FEMA's initial estimate is that 25% of homes on the islands have been destroyed. Most of the damages is in the city of Keys. Although this huge tragedy has happened, Keys residents and businesses owners slowly began returning on September 22nd. But as of an update, I guess they, even though they are returning, there is still no power or water, fresh water, and as well as cell service.
Wow. Okay, anybody else on this?
On the earthquake topic, really now just that I'm just waiting for the San Andreas fault to happen.
And we've been told for a long time that that's going to happen. So we're right there. And California's been due for the big one for a very long time. So
For 20 years.
yeah.
And eventually it will happen because, I mean, if it is hitting Florida and all these other states, I mean, eventually it's going to come to California, especially with our low elevations and stuff. It's going to come pretty soon.
So how do you prepare for it?
We need water, gas, flashlights, food.
Basically, there's an earthquake kit that they also have. Like, you could also find those at like Home Depot or like Lowe's, any type of places that would carry that type of stuff. There's, I know if we're on low on funds and stuff, they also sell some at Walmart that you could do, or you can make your own.
Right. Now, what I heard some really good ideas about what would go in this kit. And I think the main thing I heard was water. Running water will be affected by this, can be contaminated by this. So having a ready supply of water, enough for every member in your family, super important. Blankets? Yeah, absolutely. What else would be something that you would need in case tragedy strikes, because we know it's inevitable?
You need food. Best food for this would be canned food, such as like I guess green, like any type of any type of canned foods would be best for those type of
things that don't expire, right?
Right. You basically need all the things that you would need to survive like a zombie apocalypse.
Or like camping.
Yeah, those are two very different but good points. You're right. If you were to think like a zombie apocalypse, what do you need to survive the end of the world? What do you need to survive in the wilderness? You lose power. You lose gas.
You need camps.
You need something.
A
You
tent, yeah.
and one thing that I haven't heard thrown out there yet, you need a plan. So with your family, plan. Where would you meet up if this happens?
You
You know,
have to
what's a
find
safe place?
shelter first.
Yeah. What's a safe shelter? Yeah.
Safe shelter, like a place where you can't, like nothing can get you, like
No-
by
Nothing can fall on you. Nothing can. Right. So designating an area for that. I think that's really, really important. And I think that's something that we really should take from these earthquakes and hurricanes we've been seeing. Personally, I know people affected by the hurricanes. And I know when one of my friends stepped outside his house and he saw trees just flung all over his front yard, looked like a war zone. His answer was, I don't know where to start. That's kind of scary. So we should have a means to start, you know. And of course, we've seen the community come together. You know, we've seen Livestream, who does the blood drives and whatnot. They've been extremely busy, not only with hurricanes and earthquakes, but now with the Las Vegas shooting. So we've seen the community in that way. I know with the hurricanes, many of us have seen people out here gathering up supplies and making runs, you know, to Florida, to Texas and whatnot. So community is such a huge thing. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen people
Yes.
gathering water, gathering?
Back to the whole kit thing, I have a list of here. Like,
Oh, go for it.
One will have like a multi-knife, like a multi-tool knife,
Mm-hmm.
portable like stove, like a little kettle thing, whatever. Lights, obviously, emergency blankets, bath wipes, purification water, and like stuff like that. First aid, obviously, bandages, all that stuff, and just what else is there? Blankets, obviously, I already said that. Just all those really, then you can just go more into detail the more you want or need.
Yeah, but food and water is the big one. That's like the main thing you would need to survive.
I agree. So we've seen what it's happened with the hurricanes, and Angelina, you told us a little bit about it. Earthquakes. Have you guys seen what's been going on with the earthquakes and how devastating it's been?
The one in Mexico, it hit about what was it?
7.5.
It was 7.5, and that caused big tragedy over there. Especially with the low funding that they are already, it's gonna be kind of hard to bring it back up. I know I have family in Mexico, and when they called us in, they were pretty devastated by it.
I bet. I've seen, you know, the video of how Mexico was affected by it, and it's downright scary. Anybody else?
So it's such, imagine that you're in there and then you're trying to help survive. I can't say it.
And I guess that's the problem, right?
Mhm.
How do you survive against it? And it's different that we're right here talking about how to plan for the future, but when it just hits, what do? You know,
Can't do anything.
and that's where they're at right now. You know, that's what Mexico's dealing with the earthquakes, and that's what Puerto Rico and Florida are dealing with the hurricanes.
What is this earthquake supposed to happen?
Any day now.
Yeah, because it hit on Mexico, and Mexico is supposed to be like on the San Andreas
Oh,
thing right there. So yeah, so if it hits over here, then
Okay, well that's like
Plus,
right, like
So it's like right
it's like
across-
time to evacuate. Like,
It's not time to evacuate, but it is time to get prepared.
yeah.
Before the Mexico earthquake, I don't know if you guys have been following it, but there were earthquakes in Japan. There are earthquakes all around, and you know, when an earthquake strikes in the middle of the water, what do you get? You get a tsunami, which causes more devastation. So we've seen it far more active than we ever have. So I do appreciate you guys brainstorming on ideas. As we move forward, as our student council, let's put together a emergency kit and emergency food and emergency everything, so that way we're set as well, and we can share that with everybody.
I'd like to talk about the fire that happened in Portland.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it said over like 280 structures were destroyed in the fire up there.
What started the fire?
I don't actually remember, but it was started in the forest, I'm pretty sure. Then just about 280 structures, mostly homes, also were ordered to evacuate in the Hood River country, like whatever that is up there. Firefighters fought against crossroads and like regions to help battle like, the fire.
Another thing that you got to prepare for in a very different way, because you can't prepare for a fire in the same way you would prepare for an earthquake. You know, earthquake, you have stationary items. fire, you're fleeing. So it's a good thing for everyone to start thinking about. And I'm really glad that you, Jaya, brought up, well, when is it happening? We don't know. And that's the scary part. We don't know.
My birthday's coming up, you know?
What if it's a birthday present?
Yeah.
We're like, you get an earthquake for your birthday. Yay.
That's scary.
Oh, you have a birthday coming up as well. Yeah.
This
See?
Friday.
See? Oh, happy birthday, you two. We're,
Thank you.
you know, we'll get an earthquake for you guys.
Well, mine's Sunday, so it's
And yours is Friday, right?
It's
Oh, look at that. Yeah. So we'll have an earthquake for you. Don't worry.
Oh,
That's messed up.
Let's go ahead and jump into our second topic, far more lighthearted topic, and it's football. Yeah. Now, of course, I think the most appropriate thing to start off football is to go around and say, like, who's your team? So, if you have a team, throw it out. Who's your team?
Raiders.
Raiders.
I hear Chiefs, Raiders.
Patriots and
Rainbow Warriors.
Nah, I don't know. I'm a Broncos fan, so.
So, out of everybody that's here, the one I have to give the most applause to would be our Chiefs fan, because the Chiefs are undefeated, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
They are on fire.
So hard.
They don't have that strong of a division. I mean, you have the Denver Broncos,
right.
who are usually in first.
Yep. And
You have the
devastating for us.
you have the Raiders, who are usually in last, but are not in last.
Right?
And then you have the Los Angeles Chargers, who are in dead last. So it's a division that right now the Chiefs are running away with. We have a Patriot fan.
they did bad this week. They did bad.
No, well, last week they did
well,
really
they were
bad.
at the start, then they brought it back, but they lost to a field goal.
Right, but the Patriots have kind of ran the NFL for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know.
Without their
Wish they
little
would
Tom
stay.
Brady, I don't think they'll be able to make it anymore.
Yeah, and Tom Brady, you can love him or hate him. He's a legend in the sport. He is just.
He will forever be remembered as the best quarterback in NFL.
Yeah, I am with you on that, and that pains me to
The
say.
Raiders are doing good. I thought they were going to do good this year, but since their quarterback got hurt,
He's out for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
the last two games, I think they lost the week before, but he just hasn't been doing the best he could, I believe.
And it's hard when you have a measuring stick like the Chiefs, who are constantly doing good. The Raiders are doing actually fantastic when you think about it, just not compared to the Chiefs. Broncos. So Broncos have Trevor Siemian as a quarterback, who's okay in my book. He's no Peyton Manning.
He's okay in your book.
Yeah.
In my book, yeah. I'm biased because I don't like the Broncos.
So let's talk about the Chargers.
We can
Yeah.
talk about the Chargers
Yeah,
having.
let's talk about the Chargers.
The Chargers had 3 games which were just cost by a kicker, and the last game was actually cost by the team. But it's a important lesson. Every part of your team has to play their part.
We
yeah.
played
know.
against the Eagles.
We lost to the Eagles. We lost to the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, let's see. What other teams do we have doing tremendously right now? Oh,
Steelers are doing okay, I think.
you know who's really doing
Rams
good?
are doing good.
The Rams and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
The Buffalo are 3-1.
Buffalo was 3-1. That's kind of crazy. They're usually like the Browns, kind of like just not doing anything.
They're not there.
Yeah.
So, but
They
now
are,
they're
but
just like, wow, okay.
Who has been the most disappointing team that you guys have seen this year? I'm not going to be mad if you guys say the Chargers.
Chargers.
I mean, it's a winless team right now, and when you're in the same stadium as the Rams,
The Giants, but
the Giants have been pretty underwhelming.
they lost all 4 games. I don't know that much about them, but I thought they would be better. I don't know why.
They're usually supposed to be, but yeah, darn those New York Giants. And then I know we all have our favorite teams, but can we look unbiasedly and say what team is doing the best right now?
Honestly,
The
it's
Chiefs are
one-
doing the best, I think.
Me too. I would say the Chiefs.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah, and for you, it's perfectly fine because that is also your team.
I mean, they're the only team out of all of the NFL so far that I think that hadn't lost a game.
Right, because the Falcons lost because they were
The Falcons
undefeated.
lost. Panthers won against the Patriots last week.
Tough
This
loss.
week.
Yeah. So as we move forward, what are your predictions for the Super Bowl?
Well,
Well,
let's
the Chiefs
just
go,
If the Chiefs are doing as they're doing, I think they can make it. But probably I would hope the Raiders pick it up. Raiders, Chiefs, then probably the Patriots.
Yeah.
One of those 3
You-
teams, and the other team I just think maybe a random team.
Maybe the Patriots should give somebody else a spotlight for once. I mean,
Yeah,
sure, they've been
yeah.
going to the Super Bowl for how long? 3, 4 years now?
Yeah.
They
but-
probably got like a
They
ring
made
for each
the-
finger right now. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
teams
so
should get
it's
better
like-
then. But,
Agreed. They need to step up. Redskins. Redskins
yeah,
are stepping
Redskins
up
are
pretty
good.
well.
Yeah.
Um,
So you see a lot of the teams that were good back in the 80s and stuff, and like the 90s, they're kind of showing off now a little more.
right, and they have been kind of quiet, like the Redskins, for a long time.
Maybe would be surprised if the Eagles rank up because they're 3-1.
Are they 3-1?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's you never know. Carson Wentz. You never know. Raider fans, you still hold on to hope?
Oh yes.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Is it because they're Raiders or because it's the team? Do you actually, is it like, yeah, the team, the Raiders, the people on it, or is it like, I'm a Raider fan, doesn't matter?
I mean,
Which
the
one?
quarterback's good.
Yeah.
I
quarterback
respect
is
their
good.
quarterback.
See, my thing is with like the whole team. I don't know how the players are good. I just pay attention to the games. Be like, oh, they're doing okay. so
I
they
pay
might go.
attention to the quarterback.
Yeah? Well, he's out for 2 to 3.
Yeah, I know. I got so mad.
So pay attention to the backup.
Yeah, the Eagles lost their first game to the
I don't know about the background.
No.
I don't know.
See, I am a football fan all around. Like, I can tell you every member of a team and what they do and
Redskins.
and how it helps. So, the Seahawks? You know, the Seahawks haven't been doing bad. They haven't been on fire like they have been.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
2-2.
I'm a fan of Russell Wilson. I think he's a great quarterback. But
I think all the big teams are just kicking back a little bit, and because of that, they're just not doing that good.
and who are we going to see kind of falter? You know, because if you take one piece out, like the quarterback of the Raiders, do they fall apart?
Yeah, especially the Patriots too. I mean,
You know.
because their hope was what, Tom Brady. I mean, even with this last Super Bowl, it was all about Tom Brady.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of what kind of boosted their confidence, it would seem.
So what happens if you lose Alex Smith on the Chiefs? You know, Alex Smith is a heck of a quarterback. He can rush and everything. You take him out, what do? You know.
We're done.
So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen on
Browns aren't that surprising.
that. The Browns are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. 0-4.
never. Any other closing thoughts on football before we move on to our next topic?
Well, we'll just see how the rest of the season goes and see if the Raiders do make it back up.
Excuse me?
That was a simple question. Wow, somebody got very defensive there. Sounds like a Raider fan.
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
Rams.
Yeah.
I kind of hope the Rams go.
The
just to
Broncos.
go.
The Rams have been impressive. You know.
I mean, especially with their last season. I mean,
Oh,
they came back up a lot.
yeah. I think anything was a step up from last season, but they've actually been terrific.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley has been on point.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go jump into the very last topic.
The game day.
Yeah, so we have a game day coming up. What day is that?
26.
So,
October
October
26th.
26th, and it starts at 3
3
o'clock
Where is it at?
at Taylion,
High
Victorville,
Desert. Victorville.
Victorville, Taylion High Desert
Location.
location.
Right, and what will we have there?
We
will
will have
games.
free snacks, but the drinks you have to pay.
Right, so we'll be fundraising, selling sodas, but we'll be providing snacks in the form of tacos, free for all. And the event itself is free for all.
We're having that talk about
We are. So we will have games. What kind of games are we going to have?
Well, systems, we're going to have a PS4, Xbox,
it. And Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch,
And we're going to have board games as well.
Monopoly,
Monopoly,
chess.
You
chess,
finally get to
and whatever board games we also want to bring. As of games, so far,
We have
fighting
Mario
game.
Kart for Nintendo, and then for Xbox, not really too sure.
We'll have enough variety so that way
Need for
everybody.
Speed on Xbox.
Oh, hey, there we go.
There you go.
A little
I
bit
plan on
behind
getting-
again.
I just want to play Mario Kart. That's it.
You have Injustice, so we could have that.
So we'll have some fighting games. We'll have some
Another
racing
race-
games.
race-
I wish we
race-
had some dancing games, like Just Dance.
If somebody has that, bring it in. If you're a Taylion student and you have that, let us know.
Because I'm good at dancing.
That would be fun.
Oh, you want to hear our song?
I'm sure that's on clearance, so we can find it somewhere. Nobody plays it anymore.
You want to hear our favorite song?
No. No.
It's an
So-
amazing
You wanna
song.
hear it? We would dance to it.
Yes, we
No.
would.
But we would
Yeah,
like
it's not just
to
that.
remind everybody, please show up. Show up on for our game day. And you know, your family is welcome. It's free
Your
for all.
friends are welcome.
Right. And it's always a good environment. We just had a movie night. How was the movie night, guys?
Oh, very successful.
It's amazing.
So yeah.
We
And-
needed more seats.
What did
Every year
we
you
did?
got
We needed more
seats.
seats. What did we watch?
We watched Shrek.
So,
The best movies in 20th century.
Will Smith, Manfred Pro.
oh wow. Is it still recording? Hold on, let's see. Yep,
Don't get your hand.
we're still going. So, sorry, we had a little malfunction with the laptop, but we are back. So, our movie night, super successful. We're hoping for the video game day to be just as successful. If you guys have any questions regarding student council, you see these faces in front of you, please approach them and ask them. They'll be glad to give you information. You can also reach out to us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/Taylion Academy. You can go to www.taylion.com. Or you can give us a call, 760-843-6622. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the very first podcast of the school year. We look to make this a monthly thing. If you have any topics you would like to suggest, please leave a comment. Leave a comment on Facebook or on YouTube. Or if you see one of these faces, let them know, and they'll be glad to let us know the idea.
And we promise that we'll be more prepared next time.
And we do, again, thank you everybody. So signing off, my name is Nolan.
My name is Desiree.
My name is Cheyenne.
My name is Lychee.
My name is Dea.
Raymond?
And my name is Angela.
And as a quick reminder, we do have student council voting coming up next week. So in front of you, we have a few people running for president. Who's running for president? 3 people. And we have people running for activities, treasurer, and secretary. So we have activities.
Secretary.
So please vote for them. Voting will be on October 10th and 11th. So come in and see the receptionist at the Victorville Taylion for that. I want to thank everybody again, and I hope everyone has a great day.